because you're going to second Yom Tov. You have to eat it earlier. Okay, back to where we left off. Okay, we were discussing last about benching lulav and esrog. You put your feet together, you hold the lulav, and then you take the esrog, like we discussed yesterday. Okay, on the first day of Yom Tov, there's Hallel, complete Hallel on Sukkot. Each day of Sukkot, we say complete Hallel. But the first day, because it's Shabbos, we don't do Hashainis. We don't even say Hashainis, according to our custom. We don't say Hashainis at all. Sunday, the second day Yom Tov. So then, when we do Hashainis, we say the first day is Hashain also, but we don't go around. Then we say the second days, and by the letter Samach or Ayin, like it says in the Siddur, then we start going around the Shulchan. What? The first 2 days of Pesach, you don't say Hallel. The last days you don't, because Hashem's creatures were drowning. The Egyptians drowned, so we don't want to say. And the Korbanos didn't share, whatever, there's a bunch of reasons for that. But the whole Sukkot, we say complete Hallel. Okay, now, when you do Hashainis, which is right after Hallel, so you take out one Sefer Torah, you put it on the Shulchan, on the beam, or somebody holds it, and then you hold the lulav and esrog, and then you say the Hashainis, and then by the letter Samach, then we say Hashayna Leman, Hashayna, Hashayna Leman, Hashayna. Until the letter Samach, we just say, it goes according to the alphabet. Hashayna Leman Aleph, Hashayna Leman Beis. When we get the letter Samach, then we say Hashayna Leman Samach, Hashayna, Hashayna Leman Ayin, Hashayna, based on what the words are then. Now, so normally you're supposed to go around to the right. In other words, you go counterclockwise. No, it depends where you can go clockwise. It depends. The main thing is you just go around the bima.
But you might it twice on the Sunday, right?
No, Sunday only once. We say both, but we only go around by the second time. That's what it says.
And the Hoshana, the one that begins,
you don't say that. It's a double. It seems the implication is you don't say the double only when you're going around. So the first day, with the first day one, we're not going around, so you just say one, say Shaina. That's it. Okay. Now when it comes Shabbos, okay, so there's Hallel, complete Hallel, Musaf, Sholosh Regalim, there's Birchas Koyanim if you have a Koyan, and then now on the day of Shabbos, you're not allowed to do any preparations for after Shabbos. But before we go, let me go back to Hallel in a minute. When we say Hallel, part of the mitzvah of lulav and esrog is to shake the lulav during various parts of Hallel. Okay? So there are a lot of different customs. Our custom is, unless it's a hakel year, that we hold the lulav for Hallel in the right hand. Unless if you're left-handed, we learn to hold it in the left hand. Then, when you start doing the nanuim in the various different places, then you take the esrog and put it together with the lulav, and you go to the heart. You keep it by the heart. Now we do it by like this. The pasuk Heidu la Hashem ki toiv ki le'elam chazdei. Right after Hallel Hashem kol goyim, there's 4 kilam chazdeis. So by Heidu, again you're facing east, your feet together. You go Heidu 3 times to the right, and each time you shake the lulav. Not a lot, because you make the lulav puzzle. You go each time back to the heart. Heidu. The Hashem, by Hashem's name, you don't do any shakes. Ki, and then 3 times, and then Toiv, Ki, 3 times, La'olam, Chazdai, over the shoulder. Okay? Now, that we do once. Then, by Ana Hashem Mashiach, after that long thing. So then we do 2 directions per word. Ana means, when you say Ana, you go that way and that way. Hashem, you don't do any shaking. Heshia, you go up, straight and up. And Na, you go down and back. Both times. Ana Hashem Hashiana, Ana Hashem Hashiana. And then, afterwards, right after Keliyati, you say, Heidul Hashem Kitayv Kelelum Chastei. Again, it's the same thing. Heidul to the right, Ki to the left, Tov to the middle, Ki, the 6 directions, right, left, center, up, down, back. So that's how we do the Nanuyim on Sukkot. So we do it both when we bench Lulav and Esrik. Okay, our custom is to do the Nanuyim, the shakings, and then by the 4 places in Halo. 2 Heidul Hashem Kitayvs and twice by Ana Hashem Hashiach. That's what we do, the shaking of the Lulav. Okay, that's... Huh? Yeah, I said, the last Heidu again. But once by the last Heidu. The first time, not the second.
We have 5 together.
4.
Twice in the Heidu, it's 4.
No, Heidu once, Ana Hashem Hashiach twice, and Heidu once. So it's 4.
4.
Yeah.
You hold the lulav and the extra in your hand the whole time?
For when?
During Halo?
No, only when we're... okay, let me explain the history of that thing. The previous Rebbe didn't hold the Esrog during Halo. In many places in halacha it says they did. The Rebbe writes it could be that the reason is because in the last days of the Frierdiker Rebbe's last years he wasn't well. And his hand would shake. Now if you hold the lulav and esrog together and your hand is shaking, the lulav make a hole in the esrog. Because the lulav has sharp branches to it sometimes. It could possibly make a hole. So the Rebbe said that's possible. He's not saying for sure. It's possible, that's why the Frierdiker Rebbe didn't do it. Okay? So the Rebbe said, even though there's sources in halacha that you should do it, but because there's a Gemara in Sukkot that says, Kivan Nafim Mipumid Rav Kahana, there's an argument in Gemara about a certain hadas if it's kosher or not, b'di'evid. Rav Kahana held it was kosher, b'di'evid only. And his students, he said, because their Rebbe said, b'di'evid it's kosher, they're dafka doing it that way. They're doing it that way to show that... So then, so the Rebbe said the same thing. If this is what the previous Rebbe did, this is what we do. And all the years, that's what the Rebbe did. And that's what Chassidim did. Not many hakels ago, when the Rebbe was still alive, the Rebbe changed and he held the lulav and esrog together the whole time. For Halo. I said, so people here. I said it was a year of hakel and the Rebbe held the lulav and esrog together. And the Rebbe explained then, by the Fabreing, and he said, why did I do it in Shnas Hakel? So he said, because Hakel is Hakel, unity. And Lulav and Esrog represents the 4 different types of Jews to have unity. So then, I did it because of the unity of Hakel. It's a very interesting thing also. The Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, when he had an Aliyah, would hold the Torah with the talis. When he made the bracha, he held the Torah with the talis. That previous Rebbe did that. When you get an aliyah, Baruch Hashem, you hold on to the Sefer Torah, but he would hold it with the talis. And the Rebbe didn't. The Rebbe's minhag was he didn't. Whether because his father didn't, whatever. The bottom line is the Rebbe just held on to the Yisrael without the talis. One time a year, the Rebbe would hold it with the talis. And that was Simchas Torah by Chosim Bereishis. Because the custom in Chabad for generations was, the Rebbe's always got Chosim Bereishis. So, like in the previous Rebbe's time, for Chosim Bereishis they called up the previous Rebbe and his father. In the Rebbe of Shab's time they called up him and his father. So by the Rebbe, you call up the previous Rebbe and the Rebbe for Chosim Bereishis. So then, because it was the Frierdiker Rebbe was also, so to speak, called up, so then the Rebbe would hold the Talis Shabbos Bereishis with the Talis.
How about the Rebbe's father? It was also Rav, no?
It was the Rav, but the Rebbe's father didn't hold the Talis. But no, I'm saying that's the different sources of different customs that began. So the Rebbe spoke about it. He said the previous Rebbe didn't hold the lulav and esrog together because he was afraid it might ruin the esrog. So therefore we don't do it. Except hakel, the Rebbe said he did it. It was not all hakels, by the way. It was the last hakel the Rebbe then the Rebbe did it. No, you put down the esrog only when you pick it up to shake. You pick it up. There's after you finish Hodel Hashem the shakes, you put down the esrog. The lulav will hold the whole time. Then when it comes on Hashem Mashiach, then you pick up the esrog and you do the shakes. You put it down, and again by the last Hodel you pick it up and put it together. That's the minig. Okay, now Shabbos, because it's today Yom Tif. Now Shabbos, you're not allowed to do any preparation for after Shabbos, which means you can't prepare any food, you can't set the tables, you can't do anything that because you're not allowed to prepare from one day Yom Tif to the next, and definitely you're not allowed to prepare from Shabbos to Yom Tif.
Even dinner?
You can't do anything. You can't even prepare food for that night because that night is already not Shabbos anymore, it's Yom Tif. So basically, you start heating up the food after this man, yeah.
Well, what about getting candles ready from Friday night or Saturday night?
You can't put the candles in the container until, not only after Shabbos, after you say Baruch HaMavdol Ben Kodesh L'Kodesh. Then you made that Havdalah after Shabbos, so then you can prepare the candles, and then, you can start cooking food, whatever needs to be done. But on Shabbos itself, you can't do any preparations. You can't set the table, you can't cook, you can't, nothing. You can't get the candles ready either. First of all, candles are muktzah on Shabbos, so you can't. But even if it be 2 days Yom Tif, you still couldn't prepare the candles on the first day for the second night. Because again, then you're preparing one day Yom Tif to the next. So there's 2 issues over here. Besides the fact the Gemara learns out from a pasuk, but the first day Yom Tif is biblical. Second day Yom Tif is rabbinic. So you can't do things on a biblical Yom Tif for a rabbinic holiday. Because the Kedusha is more on a biblical holiday than it is on a rabbinic holiday. And definitely when it comes to Shabbos or things like that you wouldn't be allowed to do it. Biblically, it's only the first day. So therefore, this year, there's no biblical mitzvah of lulav. But therefore, we learned the other day that the lulav and esrog on Shabbos are completely muktzah. You can't move them at all, for any reason.
There is biblical mitzvah on Shabbat.
What?
There is biblical mitzvah on Shabbat.
But we don't do it.
But the Rabbanim
Said no.
decided no. But there is biblical.
I said that.
No, you said there is no biblical.
I said it the other days when we were talking about it. We learned it already. But there is a biblical mitzvah. The Chacham said you don't do it, and therefore you're not allowed to do it. Even if a guy won't have any other opportunity to do lulav and esrog any other day, you still don't do it.
So, Rabbi, next year we're going to do Erev Tafshilin?
Next year, yeah. Why are you worried about next year? Let's first get through this year. When?
This year.
What did he say?
What did he say? He said next week.
Next year.
Or next
Because next year is Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos. Everything 3-day Yom Tif next year. Anyway,